Hello, everyone. My name is Robbie Kirkham. I'm a minister of the gospel. I'm someone who believes that the Bible is true from cover to cover, and I also believe that many of the prophecies written in the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation are coming true right before our very eyes. And so in these presentations that I'm going to be bringing to you today, I'm going to provide the evidence of how close I think we are to the very end of time and the end events that were prophesied in the Bible. Part one of this presentation will be digital ID, cashless society, and the approaching mark of the beast. Okay, as many of you are aware, Revelation tells us that there will be something that people have to take in order to participate in the economy. It's known as the mark of the beast. And it's the false prophet or the second beast that causes everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive that mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, that no one may buy or sell. So it'll be the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So we see that at some point, you will not be able to participate at all in the economy without this mark. Well, the word mark there is the Greek word teragma, if I'm saying it correctly, which means a stamp or a mark, a scratch or an etching, a stamp, a badge of servitude, or a graven mark. Well, I want to show you just how close we're getting to that. In this article from Euro Weekly, Bill Gates says he believes the electronic tattoo will become reality. So what's he talking about? Well, it's something that would be put on your skin that would allow you to communicate, browse the internet, unlock doors, and access nearly every aspect of the digital world without ever touching a screen. So a tattoo or a marking upon your skin. All right? From this article in Science Alert, they also have this invisible quantum dot tattoo that was originally designed to ID vaccinated kids. They've seen that in tests that it can last up to 5 years on the skin. Remember, it's a tattoo, but it's invisible. Okay, for some time, they've been using these in various places. Sweden is an example, where they actually put a computer chip the size of a grain of rice into the hand of folks. And now they're upgrading them. This is from an article in theamazingtimes.com. Okay, so despite concerns, many users praise the convenience of the technology. No more fumbling for cash, cards, or devices. Just a quick wave of the hand to complete everyday tasks. The chip eliminates the need to carry multiple physical items, reducing clutter and making transactions faster. So you wouldn't need your keys, your card, cash, a phone, etc. Okay. Now, to show you how close we're moving towards this, it was announced a couple months ago in Britain. Sorry, that's about 1 month ago. Where in the UK, they're going to require everyone to have a digital ID in order to work. Okay? So if you don't get that digital ID, you'll be pushed out of the economy. That's also taking hold in many nations in Asia. For example, Cambodia just introduced a new e-ID card with biometrics and QR codes. All right, this biometric information will include fingerprints, iris scans, face biometrics, and voice, all of which are digitally collected for identification purposes. Okay, also in Vietnam's just started enacting a digital ID. And of the 200 million bank accounts in Vietnam, 86 million have been deactivated because those folks did not get a digital ID. And that's leaving their citizens trapped outside of the economy. Millions of citizens, particularly the elderly and those in rural areas, have found themselves excluded from the financial system due to their inability to comply with the biometric verification process. Vietnam is moving toward a world where you cannot live fully without a digital ID. Vietnam is not just taking people's money, it is deciding who can live normally in society. People without a digital ID cannot pay bills, cannot open accounts, cannot access services. Families are struggling. Small business owners cannot run their shops. Ordinary people are trapped because the system is forcing them to comply with a digital ID they may not even want. Okay, see how that echoes what we see in the book of Revelation, chapter 13. Also in Thailand, they're moving to the second phase of their digital ID framework. Now you might think, well, that's over there. It's not affecting our nation. But if you're paying attention, little by little, you're seeing our society move more and more to a cashless financial system. For example, I live in Tennessee, and on Rocky Top this fall, if you go to a game, you better take something besides cash to pay with, because they're not taking cash anymore. And I wouldn't be surprised if many of the stadiums and venues around our country are moving in the same direction. Think about how much easier it is for them not to have to deal with cash, make change, etc. Okay. A couple months ago, I was walking by a business in Gallatin, Tennessee, and I saw this sign on the door at Landmark Financial. It said, "No cash accepted." So they're not taking cash anymore. And as we look at many of the businesses, they're moving more and more to self-checkout, but many of those self-checkouts are card only, where they're not taking cash. You can see all the so-called advantages of this. They don't have to worry about theft or etc. Fraud, counterfeits, all those things are eliminated. Okay, now another clue that we're moving closer and closer to this mark of the beast is from this article in Business Insider, where Elon Musk predicts that universal basic income will take off once AI replaces workers. By the way, we're seeing that begin to pick up steam, where AI is replacing workers for various companies. So he's saying we're going to have a universal basic income, but I wonder how we'll receive that. Well, Elon Musk wants the U.S. Treasury to be put on the blockchain. What is a blockchain? Well, it's a type of cryptographic payment system that ensures the integrity, confidentiality, and authenticity of transactions, offering enhanced security and transparency compared to traditional payment methods. Okay, it creates an immutable record. You understand? It creates a record of every transaction, so it would eliminate the possibility of drug trafficking, of payments under the table, of things being paid in cash where they're avoiding taxes, and etc. So you can see all the advantages to it. Okay? In connection with this, the Treasury announced that they will be phasing out paper checks on September 30th. You might have also heard that we're not going to be making pennies anymore. So little by little, you're seeing us move away from cash to a cashless digital payment and ID system. Many people weren't paying attention this summer when both houses of Congress overwhelmingly passed the Genius Act. Here's a picture of the president signing it into law. Notice on the official White House channel, it says, "Paving a U.S. leadership in global digital currency." So it seems to be saying that we're going to be the leader in this digital currency revolution. Now, one of the members of the president's party, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, was actually against this. Even though it passed with over 300 votes in the House, she was against it because she said she'd read the Bible and this reminded her of the mark of the beast, and she thought it was moving us towards what was predicted in the end times in the book of Revelation. And I think she was on to something. Okay, the Genius Act. What does it do? Well, it creates something called a stable coin. It blesses a class of fully reserved dollar-denominated tokens. So a stable coin, what it is every stable coin must have a U.S. dollar in reserve. So it's tied directly to the U.S. dollar. Congress is effectively greenlighting a payment rail that has the potential to settle peer-to-peer and merchant payments in seconds rather than the hours or days common to ACH and wire payments. So lightning quick transactions, also creating a record of those payments, of course. Okay, now, additionally, the Genius Act requires that all stablecoin issuers, any bank or financial institution, must possess the technical capability to seize, freeze, or burn payment stablecoins. Seize, you probably understand that. Okay, freeze, can't use it, but burn means to actually take your assets and wipe them out of existence so you don't have them anymore. Now, when would they do that? If they were legally required by lawful orders. In other words, the government ordered them to do this. The president goes on to say he's delivering on his promise to make America the crypto capital of the world. Okay. Meanwhile, the surveillance state is being brought in to America while many of us are not paying attention. This is from Citizens Watch report. The government centralizes personal data. Palantir database raises Fourth Amendment concerns. Palantir's latest government contract is raising alarms across the country. The company, known for its deep ties to intelligence agencies, is now building a massive centralized database that will combine tax filings, student debt records, Social Security data, bank accounts, medical claims, and immigration status into a single system. No previous database has ever attempted to consolidate this much personal information. Okay? And then this came out just this week that ICE is spent several $1 million in purchasing a social media surveillance AI program. Okay? And this AI program would be able to analyze over 8 billion social media posts per day. Now, again, supposedly to find illegal immigrants. But what I would warn all of you about is once this is in place, it can be used against anyone that the government so chooses to use it against. Well, this is part one. As you can see that we're moving quickly to digital ID and a cashless society and all the foundational things that are needed for Mark of the Beast. I must say to all of you that are listening, this mark condemns your soul to eternal damnation. You must not take it, no matter how much the pressure is. And you must make sure that your faith and your hope is solely founded in Jesus Christ and what he did at Calvary. So that's where I want to point you today. As I finish this part one, you'll stay tuned. We'll move on to part two, which will be what's happening in Israel right now. Thank you.